Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Destiny. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we're going to talk about the Bungie livestream from Twitchcon that happened last night and the implications for the game in the longer term. Now I will just mention that I will be as even-handed as possible about the reveals, but I won't hold back from any negatives that I do see. So with that, let's get straight into it. So the main theme present in the panel was the concept of seasonal content for Destiny 2. We are obviously in Season 1 right now, and they detailed that there would be 4 seasons per year. So that works out at 1 every 3 months, roughly speaking. And when you consider that DLC 1 is coming in the vague timeline of winter 2017, that does seem to line up. It's very interesting actually to analyse how Bungie deliver their information. They see this season mechanic as a way of providing clarity to the player base. They use the term release vehicle, the start of a new season being a way for them to update the game in major ways, be that sandbox tuning, new content, or actual events like The Dawning, which they also announced here. That event includes themed gear, tower activities like ice hockey, and changes to the game world that are a bit more pervasive, like the snowballs that we can apparently fight with in strikes and amongst ourselves in social spaces. That's all good. What's also good is that the live team are showing that season breaks are where they will update or reconfigure existing events like Faction Rallies, Trials, and Iron Banner. All of these activities will be somewhat overhauled with new loot, some will get new economy mechanics, and there's the addition of questing for ornaments on armor. Iron Banner was specifically mentioned in this regard, and there were some significant improvements to how we acquire Iron Banner loot. Getting weapons through direct purchase by using legendary shards and tokens is a clear indication that they are indeed listening to feedback, and the way that they described how you got the armor ornaments was exactly the kind of thing that a lot of people were asking for in terms of endgame improvement. Macro questing, like win 10 Iron Banner matches to unlock them on this piece of gear. Now on that subject, I'd like to say, questing to change your gear, even just aesthetically, is a step in the right direction. Do I wish they had said more, or pointed to a way that this would affect every item in the game, or possibly a way to change what your gear actually did and not just how it looked? Yes, I do. I do want more compelling things to do with my static role gear. Everybody does. But this could just be the start of something. On the subject of seasonal loot, the impression they gave was that the new season's gear would have different roles than previous seasons. So that means the Season 2 Trials hand cannon will have a different role to the current one. And that's true of all event gear. That is good news. More differently rolled loot is always a good thing. They also redesigned the look of many items from banner weapons to faction armor. This is also a good thing. The fact they're trying to deal with the whole reskin criticism is a great sign. In a lot of ways they showed the potential that seasonal content can have. We know there will always be new stuff to do and new things to collect at least every 3 months. Bright engrams are also going to have their loot change every season too, with some of the previous season's content being removed to make space for the next. To give people a chance to get the bright engram gear, there will be a new event called Clarion Calls, where you get double XP and therefore more bright engrams while doing activities with a clanmate. That clanmate detail won't always be the case, but that's what it will be at the end of this season in preparation for the next. The clan perks will also change every season after a level reset, but I'm pretty sure we assume that anyway. So will minor visual things, like the actual flagpole that your clan banner hangs from. What this reveal did for me was illustrate the infrastructure of how they will implement changes and updates in the future. Adding a new Crucible map every season was a nice touch. However, the actual big changes that some of us were really looking for were conspicuous by their absence. So that's all the good stuff. There are reasons to be positive. I will now talk about things that they didn't mention that I really wish they had. I realise it's impossible for them to answer every player's personal wish list, but there are things that I think a lot of the player base shares as concerns that they could have at least hinted at. The first is something that would work really well with active seasons, and that's of course a ranked Crucible mode. It feels to me like a lot of the PvP community have somewhat given up on the game, because unlike the first Destiny, there really isn't that much to play for. The first game had playlist specific loot and variable roles as just the start. I've talked about the God Luna grind before, but it really was a motivating factor, not just for that gun, but for all the top tier weapons that you could get from the Crucible. It gave you reasons to keep coming back. After you've got all the relevant static loot in Destiny 2, what reason is there for playing Crucible, other than say the simple joy of shooting people in the face? There isn't one, and that's a problem. The competitive playlist doesn't function all that well because there's no real reason to stay and compete, so people leave all the time when they're losing. A lot of players are desperate for a ranked mode as it provides player prestige, long-term goals, and a reason to keep coming back. Now I could make this criticism criticism of any reveal stream or panel Bungie do where they don't confirm a ranked mode is in the works. But it does feel like having ranked seasons would be a great idea, as that's how a lot of other competitive games structure their ranked mode. Alas, it wasn't mentioned. Another thing that wasn't present was any talk of weapon duplicates and how to make them feel special, like Luke Smith has previously commented on, or a possible rework or expansion of the mod system. Questing for ornaments on armor is a positive sign that they're thinking of ways to make loot more compelling, but I don't think if that's the limit of what they're planning that it'll be quite enough to keep people interested. Now, to be fair, Deej did say that there would be 3 further streams in November on Crucible Radio, most likely talking about the DLC and more seasonal details. They might choose to talk about some of the more nitty-gritty sandbox tuning in those streams. That could be where they elaborate about endgame improvements in greater detail, so let's all keep our fingers crossed. So I guess the overall takeaway is positive. Activity-specific loot and bright engram items will be unique from season to season. Bungie are open to reworking mechanics that don't work, like Season 1 banner loot. That is undeniably a good thing. There is clearly a roadmap for more and more content. I just know players like myself are waiting for that next big reveal, that big idea that adds complexity to the endgame that appeals to our more hardcore nature. As it stands, we'll have to keep waiting a little bit longer. Let me know what you thought of the Bungie panel in the comments below. Are you excited for Tower Ice Hockey or Dawning Armor and Ornaments? I'm sure this topic will create a buzz in the community, so I look forward to reading your feedback. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you never want to miss another video of ours again, please click the bell icon next to the subscribe button on our channel to join the notification squad. You'll be in good company. And finally, please check out our Twitter. It's where you can find updates about new videos and other cool stuff. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time,